この国を守っていきます。
よかった。俺もこの国が、この国に住む人たちが大好きだ。そしてフィリア・アデナウは。
That is all, my friends. Splendiferous ending to episode number 12 of Two Perfect Saint. I really think that this had probably the best ending of any show this season so far, because there are still several to come and end this season, but this one definitely had the best ending. I definitely did find a lot of faults in the ending for sure. Like just this episode, I guess this little plot line here is, how do you say it? Like the plot line kind of like fell down when it pivoted away from the whole Mia and revenge. And after Mia being the center, which I think was the peak of the show, after it moved away from that and back to Philia, and then it moved to the Demon Lord, I just felt like the story, like I cared about it less. And although I guess, it is a Demon Lord, they did overcome the Demon Lord. My care level overall of, me actually caring about the Demon Lord, his love for the past saint, his actual threat, all that. I just wasn't really into it. And then last episode, you had the prince come. And out of all the people that could have gone to assist Philia, the prince was the most useless one. Now, I told you guys last week, and I still agree that the reason that they did that, or the reason that somebody would do that in that situation, is just simply in case something happens to Philia, it can happen to them too. Like, you don't want something to happen to the person you love the most in the world and not have been there to potentially do something about it. So I still, it makes sense in a way. So I'm not completely mad by it, but really all he did was distract the Demon Lord, like one time. And then he pretty much got mollywopped. And then Philia basically, in cahoots or in conjunction or in partnership with the past, her past self that gave her power, she basically like one-manned defeated the Demon Lord. And that whole thing, I was like, okay, so we know she was busted. She's OP this whole time. Even regardless even if it took the past saint to come and give her powers, that was still within her somewhere, right? Because they said, oh, she has the soul of the original person. So she still like one-man armied the Demon Lord and then revived everybody and took him down, and then they returned. But the whole like needing to make her damsel in distress, I just feel like wasn't needed. I feel like they could have still had the same storyline where the prince and her reunite and everything else. I still felt like they could have had her one man, the Demon Lord, like one shot the Demon Lord. Basically, nothing else really changes except for the damsel in distress stuff, because she really wasn't. Like, she's the most powerful being outside of the Demon Lord themselves. She's even more powerful. She's the most powerful figure in the land, so it just doesn't make sense to focus on that. But regardless, I'm gonna let that one go. And then the rest of the story, it basically just kind of follows through. She reunites with her mother. She gets a backstory. They return to Panacorta. Then she reunites with Mia. Mia reunites with the past prince. And that's my second fault with the episode, with the ending, is we didn't get a really good solidified ending for Mia. She was so impactful, and she was basically our main character for so long of the story that I really felt like I would have liked to have seen a little outside of her, just her and the prince, and like, they're redoing stuff. I would have liked to see maybe a flash forward in time where, maybe her and the other prince are getting married, or maybe she's being honored for something, and it just shows her living and thriving. I felt like we didn't really get tied off with Mia as much as we could have. So that was my other thing, because Mia I felt like was a much better character than Philia, in the context of the show. But, regardless of that. And then Philia went back to, Panacorta, and that was all fine. And then she reunites with, her sister and mother, and then she goes on a date with the prince, and they tell each other that they love them, that they love each other, and they love Panacorta. And I felt like that was pretty good. Like, that was a good ending. They both come in like, oh, this is what it means to love each other. And that was, the end of the show. And I feel like that was enough. Did we get a kiss? No. Did we get anything substantial? No. Would that have helped a little bit? But regardless, they still kind of confessed, and they realized each other's feelings, and they looked at each other's eyes. So I think that was good enough. So I still think it's one of the best shows of the season, for sure. One of the best shows of the year so far. Definitely a hidden gem. Definitely a show not enough people are talking about. Definitely deserves to have more viewership. Deserves to have more people talking about it. I think that it had a really bad episode 1, and I think that after Mia's revenge, it did fall down. I still fall in at about like a 7 out of 10, I think is where I would fall with this show, but that's still very respectable. That's a good show, and definitely deserving of like the hidden gem kind of like status for sure of this season. But I loved it. I thought it was a good ending, and I did have problems with it. You know, it wasn't perfect, but I think it's definitely one of the better endings that we've gotten so far this season. So I'm here, guys, to continue to finish out all the other shows that we have for spring, and then we head right into summer. Do me a favor, look out for my summer videos coming soon that we'll talk about, like, hey, what are we going to watch? What's the hot stuff for summer? I think summer is going to be a fun time this season. So look forward to that. And I look forward to you guys engaging with me in the comments. Let me know your guys' final thoughts for 2 Perfect Saint in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the summertime. All right. Peace out, my friends.